The secrets of the Trojan War. Have you ever heard about a war that started because of love? Stay with us, because what you're about to hear is full of secrets, battles, and brave heroes from ancient times. In this story, we'll take you back to the world of gods, warriors, and a wooden horse. But don't worry, we'll use simple English so you can follow and improve your listening and speaking skills easily. This is not just a history lesson, it's a story full of surprises. So sit back, relax, and let's discover the secrets of the Trojan War together, step by step. Chapter 1. The Beauty That Started a War. A long time ago, in the land of Greece, there lived many powerful kings and queens. But one woman's beauty would change history forever. Her name was Helen. Helen was the queen of Sparta, married to King Menelaus. She was known as the most beautiful woman in the world. Everyone talked about her beauty. One day, a young prince from Troy named Paris visited Sparta. He was welcomed by the king, and soon he saw Helen. At that moment, he fell in love. But this love was not simple. Some say the gods had a plan. Others say Paris used magic or tricks. In the end, Helen left with Paris and went to Troy. King Menelaus was angry and heartbroken. He called his brother Agamemnon, a great king, and asked for help. "We must bring Helen back," he shouted. So the kings of Greece gathered their ships and soldiers. They formed a great army. They were ready to sail to Troy and start a war for Helen. Some joined for honor, some for power, and some because they had made a promise. All of them believed Helen was worth fighting for. And so the journey to Troy began. No one knew it would last 10 years. But this was the start, the beauty that began a war. Chapter 2. The Gods Take Sides. The war between Greece and Troy was not just a war of men. In the sky above, the gods on Mount Olympus were watching. And they had their favorites. Some gods loved the Greeks. Athena, the goddess of wisdom, stood with them. So did Hera, the queen of the gods. They wanted to see Troy fall. But other gods loved the Trojans. Aphrodite, the goddess of love, had promised Paris that he would marry Helen. She now protected him and Troy. The gods began to fight with each other. Sometimes they helped their heroes in battle. Sometimes they made storms or sent dreams to guide the war. Zeus, the king of the gods, tried to stay neutral, but even he had a hard time watching without acting. The war became a game of power for the gods. Down on Earth, the humans didn't always know why strange things happened, but often it was the gods who were playing with their fate. This war was more than ships and swords. It was a battle of pride, love, and jealousy among both men and gods. And with the gods involved, the war would not end quickly. It would only grow bigger, darker, and more dangerous. Chapter 3. The Fall of Troy begins. The Greek army arrived at the shores of Troy with hundreds of ships. They built camps and waited. But Troy had strong walls and brave warriors to defend it. The leader of the Trojan army was Hector, the brother of Paris. He was smart, strong, and loved by the people. He fought to protect his city and family. On the Greek side, there was Achilles. He was the greatest warrior in Greece. His speed and strength were like no other. But he was proud and hard to lead. The battles began. Every day, both sides lost many soldiers. The Greeks could not break the walls of Troy, and the Trojans could not push them back to sea. The war lasted for years. Many heroes died. Sometimes the Greeks won a battle, sometimes the Trojans. But there was no clear winner, just more pain. One day, Achilles and Hector met face to face. It was the fight everyone had waited for. The two strongest warriors were about to clash. The battle was long and fierce, but in the end, Achilles won. Hector died, and Troy mourned. His death was a big loss. The Trojans began to lose hope. But the war was not over yet. Even though Hector had fallen, Troy still stood, and the Greeks still could not find a way in. Chapter 4: The Trick of the Wooden Horse. After 10 long years, the Greeks were tired. They could not break Troy's walls. So they tried something new, a trick that no one expected. Odysseus, a clever Greek leader, had an idea. "Let's build a huge wooden horse," he said. "We will hide soldiers inside and pretend to sail away." The Greeks built a giant horse and left it near Troy's gates. Then they burned their tents, got on their ships, and sailed away. Or so it seemed. The Trojans found the horse. It looked like a gift. "The war is over," they cheered. "The Greeks are gone. Let's bring this horse inside the city." Some Trojans were unsure. "What if it's a trap?" one man said. But most people wanted to celebrate. They pulled the horse into the city. That night, Troy was full of joy. People danced, ate, and drank. No one noticed that inside the horse, Greek soldiers were waiting in silence. When the city slept, the soldiers came out of the horse. They opened the gates for the Greek army, which had secretly returned during the night. The Greeks entered Troy and attacked. The city was on fire. The trick had worked. The great city of Troy had finally fallen. Chapter 5: The Aftermath and the Hero's Fate. Troy was burning. The streets were full of smoke and screams. The Greek army had won the war. But what came after was not glory. It was tragedy. Many Trojan people were killed or taken as slaves. The beautiful city that once stood strong was now just ruins. The war had destroyed everything. Helen was taken back to Greece with King Menelaus. Some say he forgave her. Others say she was never truly happy again after the war. Odysseus began his journey home, but the gods were not finished with him. His trip would take 10 more years, full of danger and loss. Achilles never saw the end of the war. He died before Troy fell, hit in the heel, his only weak spot. His name lived on as a hero, but his life was short. Paris, who started the war by taking Helen, also died. His love story ended in blood. The gods had used him and then left him to his fate. The Greeks had won, but many never made it home. The war had changed them all. Some lost their friends, others lost their honor or peace of mind. And so, the great Trojan War ended, but its story lived on, told by poets, written in books, and now told to you in simple English.